This morning, we begin with the story from South Africa, where South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has openly come out to give encouragement to the anti-immigrant protest. According to the president, is openly supporting the protest because, according to him, it will help rid South Africa of illegal immigrants. And this open support has drawn a lot of criticism and different divergent opinions from members of the public, including Nigerians. Let's hear from the president himself. All right, so our second story, while we await that video, our second story is here in Nigeria. Yes, we're torchlighting on the police system, where the IGP of police, Tunji Disu, has ordered his men to arrest anyone who covers their number plate. According to him, when he talks about reformation in the police system, is not only referring to the police but also the general public as well. So he has given the marching order to his men that anyone whose number plate is covered or whose vehicle does not have a number plate should be arrested. Let's hear from him.
When we say end to impunity, it does not concern only our officers, it concerns every member of the public as well. We are going to act on that. You cannot drive your vehicle in this country without affixing number plates to it. We are going to arrest you and we'll charge you to court accordingly for that. You are not going to cover your number plates. You do not have right to cover your number plates. They have turned that to status symbol. Nobody have right to cover their number plates. A lot of crimes have been committed by people covering their number plates. At the end of the day, by the time you arrest them, no matter their status, you will notice they have not been updating their registration number. For years, they have not gotten new licenses. They have been shortchanging the federal government of Nigeria. So I have directed my officers to ensure they arrest anybody driving their vehicles without numbering them or covering their number.
Yes, arrest anyone covering their number plate or who drives their vehicles without a number plate, because according to the IGP of police, Tunji Disu, this is them shortchanging the federal government and it will not be allowed. That was our second story. And yes, let me take you back to our first story, which is from South Africa. The xenophobic attacks that has been going on in South Africa and has been having a lot of reactions from Nigerians and Africans across the world. Now the South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has come out to openly support the anti-immigrant protests. Recall that in South Africa there have been ongoing protests about anti-immigrants leaving the country. Protests sponsored by campaigners and former actors, such as the one who came out on the stage and has been really vibrant about it. We also learned that shops were closed during this period, and for shops that were open, we saw videos of shops that were being looted. And now the president of South Africa is coming out to openly support this protest. Conversations have arisen from this particular open support, with a lot of persons saying, how will the president of South Africa be supporting protests that go against the unity of Africans? He's now openly coming out to say that, oh, we do not want Africans in our country. This is a conversation around this. But before we have this conversation in the studio and get to hear from you, our viewers, let's hear from the president directly.
No. I mean, our people exercise their right to protest, which is enshrined in our constitution, and we must support that. For the most part, the protests, the marches were quite peaceful. Only a very few incidents. It could have been much worse. And I was very pleased that we were able to hold extensive consultation with a number of people. And we brought to bear the need for peace, need for orderliness, and that's exactly what we had.
Anything worried you?
No, I was not worried. I was actually quite relaxed. Yeah, thank you so much.
On that note, I welcome you to the Friday's edition of the morning show done on VOS TV, where we bring in trending stories, insightful conversation, and of course, sports updates happening in the world of sports as the 2026 World Cup is currently ongoing. Yes, it's a Friday, and I'll say, thank God it is Friday. It's time for a lot of people to relax from the work stress. I remain your host, Felicia Udeji, here to take you around on an interesting world. I have a lot packed for you today, so you definitely want to stay hooked to that channel, and of course like this video and drop your comments as well. I have with me a dashing young, will I say dashing prince? He's actually dressed like a prince anyway. A dashing young prince in the studio with me this morning. Destiny Ago.
Good morning, Felicia.
Good morning. Viewers. How are you doing this morning?
I would say I'm okay. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing good as well. I'm
you
doing
and this
good.
Your bead. I'm still looking for the meaning behind it though. But no problem, we're fine.
You see this bead?
Okay.
You see this bead?
All right.
It was given to me by my mother's.
Let's have it.
When you talk about family heirloom. Anyway, you know, we are representing the African culture, just like you're dressed right now. You're representing the African culture. So this is my own symbol of representing the Benin culture. As a Benin, Edo girl that I am, I have to represent my tribe. You know.
That's nice.
Yes. All right, and for you viewers watching us this morning, how is your weekend? How are you doing this Friday morning? And now let's quickly kickstart the conversation, Destiny. Let's start off with the order from the IGP saying that the men should arrest anyone whose number plate is covered and whose vehicle is without a number plate, because this constitutes nuisance to the society. Aside from that, a lot of people actually use these vehicles to commit crimes, and because they do not have a number plate, or because their number plates are covered, they cannot be tracked. And I'm sure that you might have come across this kind of vehicles in one way or the other.
Yeah, I have. And the thing is, before you can cover your number plate, it depends on the vehicle. You can't say most crimes that are committed with vehicles like the Prados or the politician kind of Lexus and the rest. And that's one. Two, you need to be a VVIP before you can even consider covering your numbered plates. So that's order. I think this is the second time in 4 years we are hearing of such. The last time the IGP before him gave same order that even went as far as saying that vehicles with police numbers, that's the spy numbers, should be confiscated if any of such is found. And till today, vehicles of such are still moving about. Then for covering number plates, I would just say he's just looking for a story, or he's looking for something to say, because I see no business with what's going on in the country currently with number plates that is covered.
So you're saying that crimes are not linked to the covering of number plates?
It's not. I would even the part where I said vehicles with that are unregistered, that's quite okay, because most crimes that are being committed are committed with vehicles that have no number plates, not the one that is covered.
Okay.
So his focus would be more on vehicles without number plates, one, and two, the crime itself, not number plates that are covered. It makes no sense.
I know when you were speaking just now, you made mention of the kind of vehicles who covers their number plates, and you were talking about government officials, and I think I've come across special vehicles like that. And I'm wondering, because we've had previously the president himself gave the order that no public official should be attached to military personnel, the patrol team and all. But we have seen very little enforcement in that regard. And now the IGP now giving this order I am wondering, like, in terms of enforcement in Nigeria, because over the years we have seen little enforcement when it comes to orders, especially when it has to do with men in authority. Now that the IGP has given this order, how do you think the enforcement will be like?
As usual. Because if you take a look at this issue, it affects more of the political class than an average Nigerian. The political class, the top business moguls, it affects them the most. Now, imagine someone, like, let me use a parliamentarian at any level. First off, is entitled to security details of any of the security outfits. 2, is entitled to an official vehicle, which the number plates will be covered. It's a must.
So it's a must. So
a must. Which
means that the IGP's order is more like not going to be effective as it relates to them.
It's strange that where it is not needed. It's not. Covering of number plate is not the problem right now.
All right, thank you. Now let's touch on the first story, which is from South Africa. The president of South Africa coming out openly to say, I support the anti-immigrant protest. And this is protest that has dislodged a whole lot of persons from South Africans, Nigerians inclusive. What does this say about general inter-African relation and the unity of Africans?
Let me not rush into saying something that would be used later. Now,
against you?
I don't know. Against me or for me. The thing is, such a statement coming from the president, I would say it was one quite harsh in the sense that the xenophobic attack is affecting only Africans. I've not seen any white person coming out to say he or she was attacked from the attack. 1 and 2.
So does that mean that only Africans and the anti-immigrants are the illegal migrants in the country?
From the protest, yes. But from my perspective, no. Because there are some Africans who did not just migrate there, they were born there. So you can't say they are illegal immigrants. And for you to be born in a country, the last I can remember in governments, one way of acquiring citizenship is by birth. So for you to be born in such a country, automatically you are a citizen. So you can't say you are an illegal immigrant. Then, these are persons that have spent nothing less than 5 years. That's at least 5 years in that country. And if you stay in a particular country for a period of 1 year, your consideration of being a citizen is high. Then the attack, would say, I think this is the third one in 6 years, the third or the fourth in 6 years, and it has been building. And one thing we should know is anything that has happened before and stopped has a very high chance of repeating itself
again and again.
It will keep repeating. For now, I think this is the only news about South Africa so far on the net. And in another 3 to 4 months, the attack would still die down, it will lay low, and everybody will go back to normal, thinking it has ended.
Maybe by next year we'll see something again.
Again.
Oh well, one thing I can say right now is I'm not a hater, but I'm glad South Africans are out of the World Cup, at least.
I take that personal.
I'm not a hater, yeah.
I'm the leader of that movement.
All right, on that note that we bring to an end this segment of this show, and we'll take a quick break so that we can bring you the second segment, which is the newspaper review. Stay with us. right, thank you for still being there with us. It is done on VOS TV. We are live on Facebook, YouTube. Yes, do us well to give this video a thumbs up. Yes, give this video a like. Do well to drop your comments. And speaking about comments, let me just read a few from our viewers this morning. Jagaban says, good morning. Good morning to you, Jagaban. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning, Anulika. Good morning, Ostano. Good morning, Joshua Oji. As regards the police conversation, Joshua Oji said, I love the new move, but praise that corruption should not come into it, just like the removal of policemen or security withdrawal from the politicians and the rich and powerful. How effective is it? Yeah, that's the question every Nigerian is asking. If you're making orders, how effective are the orders? All right, thank you so much, everyone. Keep your comments coming as I'll keep reading them. Now let's quickly delve into our newspaper. First one is the Vanguard. On the front page of the Vanguard, federal government increases domestic borrowing by 241%. That story can be found on page 19. Court affirms Mark-led executive dismisses Abejide's suit. It has a couple of riders on that story. Judgment a victory for democracy justice, says Mark. ADC hails court ruling, says bid ended in failure. Courts can be hijacked. Atiku louds judiciary's courage. All right, and just by the side of that story, birthright citizenship, pregnant women face ban from U.S. Yes, we know that according to U.S. Constitution, once you give birth in that country, automatically the child becomes a citizen of the United States according to the 14th Amendment. But however, currently, U.S. has put a ban from allowing pregnant women to enter into the country to give birth. So take, for instance, a pregnant woman in Nigeria who is hoping for a child to become a U.S. citizen by birth. You are not allowed to enter into the country as long as you are pregnant. All right, that's that for that story. And the big story on the Vanguard this morning. Price out of birth, family battle, soaring child delivery cost. The writers on that story. Expenses don't end at childbirth. One husband laments. What I would expect would be 180,000 naira exceeded 1 million naira. Experts warn rising charges are driving unsafe birth, maternal death. That's the big story on the Vanguard this morning, talking about the cost of child delivery. Husbands are lamenting that it has gone beyond their pockets. One of the writers, one husband says that what I thought I would spend 800,000 for, I'm spending close to 1 million naira just for my wife to give birth. And experts are warning that this is actually driving a lot of Nigerians to look for cheaper alternatives which are not safe. And it calls for the question of the cost of our healthcare sector destiny. This is a conversation I will continue to drive because as at a few months ago, I said I took a friend to a public hospital here in Benin City first. And for ordinary malaria, we were given a bill for drugs. I'm not talking about the test we did. The malaria test separate. Just the drugs. We were given a bill of over 11,000 naira for malaria drugs. And I just could not fathom. I just could not. My mind could not. Because, I mean, we're trying to avoid large bill. Okay. That was why we came to government hospital.
And you still met it.
And I just could not fathom the cost of healthcare. And now delivery is another thing. How do we curb this in Nigeria?
I'm not sure it has any way it can be curbed. Because we claim that something is on the high, and yet people still put to bed every single minute.
Is the problem from the people who put to bed? I mean, children are gifts from God, or from the government who is supposed to provide subsidized health care for the citizen?
Children are a gift from God does not mean you should give birth to a football team.
Interesting.
And two, on the part of the government, I would say we live in a country where we have everything we need, yet we still import. As low as toothpick. It's shocking, I know, but as little as toothpick we import. So, and one thing that makes that increase is because the cost of clearing. Imagine buying something abroad for let's say $1,000, and you are clearing it with $1,500. You have not sold, you've not transported to where you are selling it.
So as regards our drugs, you are saying that the cost of, because we import drugs into the country, that's why the healthcare sector is so expensive, or when it has to do with the childbirth, because that's the focus right now. Childbirth, is it because of importation?
The things that will be needed are imported.
Interesting.
The surgical equipment, that's if the lady is giving birth through cesarean operation, they're imported. We don't produce anywhere in Nigeria. Even the ones that are produced in Nigeria are substandard. So, majority of our public healthcare houses are more or less being privatized. 60% of it are owned by private individuals. So imagine imagine an individual being a major shareholder of an hospital. Let me use Central Hospital. A private entity having 60%, that is more or less the owner. So he determines what goes on, and he plays the cards to his team. Interesting.
All right, thank you. Well, I totally really hope that cost of childbearing will definitely reduce, because in as much as it's two-sided, like Destiny said, the fact that children are a gift from God doesn't mean that people should give birth to a football team. Yes, give birth to children you can train, but that does not mean that the cost of child delivery should be that expensive. All right, moving on to our next newspaper, The Guardian. Xenophobia, 700 more Nigerians to return from South Africa. That's a good development there. And just by the side, security agencies invite 6 alleged terror financiers for questioning. Dangote cuts fuel prices again, signals further moderation. That story can be found on page 3. The big story on The Guardian, PFIPC scandal puts budget integrity governance under scrutiny. Talking about the allegation against the talking about the allegation against Femi Gbajabiamila and the supposed presidential agency there. It has really cast aspersion on governance, scrutiny, and corruption allegation there. All right, moving on. 250th Independence Day. U.S. to deepen security. Investment ties with Nigeria. Nance candidate list. Presidency fumes over Ondo APC protest. Orders probe. Police arrest 3 over assassination attempt in Osun State. And in Lagos, LASG identifies 3,390 new HIV positive cases in first quarter of 2026. Let's quickly touch on our last newspaper, which is the Nigerian Tribune. Conflict funding shortfalls push northern Nigerian hunger crisis to worst level, U.S. agency says. Conflict funding shortfall push northern Nigeria hunger crisis to worst level. And just by the side of that story, court affirms David Mark-led ADC leadership. It's victory for constitutional democracy, rule of law, says Atiku. And the big story on the Nigeria Tribune, Knoxtro Ghost Presidential Council. Atiku, Dalung, CSO, questions raised. Agency allocated 1.3 billion naira in 2026 budget. My agency not a ghost body. I'm ready for trial, says Adeyemi. Airfare static despite global crude oil prices decline. Court rejects Erufai's fresh bail bid over disputed medical report. And so many other stories. Let me just touch on this last one from the Nigeria Tribune. Health. New blood tests sports more dangerous prostate cancer than PSA, says report. Okay, before we go, I want us to touch on this story, though it's not making headlines on the Nigerian Tribune, but it's on the Vanguard. Looking at the federal government's new proposed uniform for NYSC, from khaki to Adire. And here it says on the Vanguard that Adire is not yet approved to replace NYC khaki. Youth Minister clarifies. Is not yet approved, but the speculation that has been making around on the internet is that Adire will replace khaki. And many persons have come out to say, Adire doesn't look uniform. Anybody can have Adire, while some persons see it as a good one to promote our culture. What do you think about it?
Isn't it for NYCs, even if it's a national uniform, there's no way to promote culture because Adire is worn by literally almost all the tribes, if not all the tribes in Nigeria. So which culture are you promoting? Like
promoting Nigerian culture as a whole.
Nigeria, what's Nigeria's culture? Do we have a culture?
Yes, we do have a culture.
Oh, I didn't know.
Nigeria has a culture. When we talk about culture, we are talking about the different cultures from the different tribes. So this time around, it's not specific to a tribe, but it's promoting Nigeria, because NYSC is not just a body for one state. It's a national body created with the sole aim of uniting the country after the Civil War. So according to the argument from the youth minister, replacing khaki with Adire will actually go a long way to promote Nigeria.
The thing is, it makes no sense.
Why do you say so?
It makes no sense. First off, literally 95% of persons alive today, they are all familiar with the khaki and whites. Then you are coming. I've noticed one thing about this current administration. They came to change. First, they changed the national anthem. Then they are changing how things are run in the country. Now they are changing the NYSC uniform from supposedly to Adire, and it makes no sense. Like, okay, if you are wearing the Adire, what are we using it for? When are we wearing it? It will now be, okay, let's say every Friday you are wearing it, or this thing, it makes no sense.
All right,
khaki
thank
has
you.
Been going on, then reach our tone, they are turning into like, I don't understand.
Well, one thing I can say is I'm glad I'm done with my NYC because I loved my khaki. Oh my God. Anyway, I still look forward to seeing that the Adire because it's beautiful, it's colorful, and let's just see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. And thank you so much, Jagaban, for your comment. You say 2018 was the year South Africans started all the xenophobic attacks. How do you expect them to change? Keep your comments coming. And even concerning the change of the NYC uniform, we also like to hear from you. What do you think about it? Is it a welcome development? Do you believe that Adire is more preferred to the general khaki we are used to? Let us know in the comments. That's where we call it a wrap on the first and second segments of the show. Coming up next is our discussion segment. Do stay.
Think VOSTV Ninja.
It is that season of the year again for graduation ceremony. Are you a school proprietor or proprietress in Benin City, principal or head teacher? How do you intend to celebrate your graduates in style this season? Are you looking for professional media outfits that can add glamour to your event with a touch of class? Think no further. VOS Global Media Limited, the fastest growing online station in Benin City, has solutions to your worries and standard expectations. It is a place where education meets fun. As you begin preparation for your graduation ceremony, contact us to bring your event to life and showcase your school to the world. We render the following services: event coverage, photo shoots, photo frames, red carpet shows, news coverage, and live streaming. Interestingly, these services are rendered at discounted prices for our special school promo this season. Apart from graduation ceremony, we can also cover your inter-house sports, cultural day, career guidance events, debates, quizzes, exciting excursion tours, and any other event. events. We are ready to showcase your events to our vast audience scattered across social media platforms. What are you waiting for? Contact us today on 0903 710 3329 or 0802 254 7837. You can also visit us at our office at 82 First East Secular Road, Benin City.
For still being there with us, it is Dawn on VOS TV. Today we are talking about a very important conversation. Yes, the price, the high cost of fuel in Nigeria. Yes, the debate over the price of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, has once again taken the center stage. This is following the renewed or recent order by the federal government through the Federal Competition and Consumers Protection Commission, FCCPC, where it warned marketers against maintaining high cost of fuel prices despite the drop of crude oil prices in the global market. According to global data, currently the drop of fuel price has dropped from $120 per barrel to $73 per barrel. And the FCPC is saying that consumers deserve to benefit whenever there is a reduction in the price. However, marketers are arguing differently, saying that they bought price at a high cost and so they cannot reduce the pump price since it will cost them to incur losses. Now, Nigerians are asking a very important question. Why is it that whenever the price of fuel goes up, marketers are quick to adjust their pump prices, but when it comes down, marketers find it difficult to adjust their pump prices? As of today, fuel still sells for as high as 1,300 naira to 1,200 naira in the market. Meanwhile, recently from our news report, we saw that the Dangote Refinery has once again brought down its fuel depot price, and the global crude oil market has dropped, all thanks to the downsing of tension between Iran and the US. Yet Nigerians are still experiencing a different reality. So the big question this morning is, what exactly or who exactly controls the price Nigerians pay for petrol? Is it Dangote Refinery? Is it fuel marketers? Or is it exchange rate? What are the determinants of the price of fuel in the market? This is the conversation we are having this morning, and we want you to join this conversation by lending your voice through the comments. Joining me live in the studio to analyze, dissect this, and bring light to these issues is our own in-house analyst, the person of Comrade Roy Uriabo.
Good morning. Thank you for having me once again.
Good morning, Comrade. How are you doing?
I'm good.
All right, it's a beautiful Friday and a good time to talk about issues affecting us Nigerians.
Yeah.
Now, the argument about pump price. We have noticed a drop in the price of fuel, in the price of crude oil in the global market. However, marketers are yet to bring down their pump price. And the Federal Consumer Competition Protection Commission is insisting that marketers bring it down, else they will be sanctioned. So, are they justified in making this demand as compared to marketers' argument that it is market forces that determine and they bought at high prices, therefore they cannot bring it down?
Well, the issue of market forces determine price, these are just, it's a convenient statement, it's based on who is analyzing it and who is taking a decision about that. Naturally you expect, we at the international market, crude oil was almost at 130, 120 per dollar, and all of us, we saw it, where fuel would not move to about 1,300 or something, and we all battled with it. And this happened because of the war between Iraq and US. And all of us have always been mobilizing and discussing on this regard. Is there any possible way for the U.S. and Iran to have an understanding? And they have seized that. As at this morning when I checked, the international price of crude is about $70 by barrel. What does that show? That there is already about $50 difference. What we expect Nigeria marketers to also follow the trend, but here they are not doing. To the extent they are even threatening the government that anything more than that they will shut down the market. That is in Nigeria in all of us, and that is the wickedness that all of us we exhibit. Towards the country called Nigeria. Across the globe, internationally, you go, cost of PMS is gradually going down, not just gradual, drastically is going down. But in Nigeria now, it's not willing to come down. One will naturally expect that once the cost of yam is down, Panadol is supposed to follow suit. But in Nigeria, it's otherwise. It's otherwise. They are grandstanding and holding their ground that they bought at a high level and they cannot say. They all, if you check it, they are all lies. They are all lying just to deceive Nigerians. For them, they want to make an unreasonable profit. And that is what they are having. And Nigerian government must not also fail us in this narrative. Nigerian government must also be there for. That is why they have the Consumer Protection Agency to protect the interests of those who are consuming this product. By now, there is nothing wrong for we to be buying for in Nigeria between 700 naira and 750 naira per liter. That is how it's supposed to be now. If you look at how we started the price movement, considering the upward movement now is going downward, the price is supposed to follow drastically, but it's not follow, and this negates the principle of demand and supply. Once the principle of demand and supply is very clear on this issue, but in Nigeria, it's not obtainable. It's not obtainable, and you begin to wonder where are we headed to. All of us are blaming government. We were all blaming government when the price was going down, even without considering what was happening in the international environment. That petroleum product or crude oil is an international product that your country or a local state cannot take a decision over it. Therefore, you must take it to international market where price will be determined. But now price have been determined at the international market, but at the local market, the price refused to dwindle.
Okay, now speaking about the local markets. My next question is, who exactly controls how much Nigerian pays in the petrol for fuel? Reason I ask, currently Dangote has dropped its price again from 1,125 naira to 1,075 naira. So imagine that marketers are buying from Dangote at that rate, 1,075 naira. So can we say that their current price of, say, I think there's a fuel station close to me that sells 1,210 naira. Can we say this is justified because of Dangote's current price? Or can we blame it on our foreign exchange? That the fluctuations in the naira to dollar is what's causing it? Or is it that the marketers are just being exploitative?
No, the issue of naira to dollar is not even applicable now. It's not applicable unless we just want to deceive ourselves. Because one, relatively, the cost of naira be stable at the local, even local international market. If you go and see the Bureau de Change, they will tell you that they have maintained a price that will be very consistent for over 2 months. Therefore, it does not even arrive now. But the issue is the wickedness in all of us. These are some of the issues we also take. And quite very fundamentally, is that one, if we're running an open economy, then you allow price. The market force will determine price. You record in this country that at the time, the price will say, no, we can no longer, price was fixed at home. Nigeria woke up one day and said, let's deregulate the sector. So that it will not be determined by market forces. You go and buy, and you go and buy. But now, we are in a point where all of us, we are all aware of how much is the cost of crude oil internationally. The price is drastically down, and it's still coming down. We believe and hope it will still come down. How on earth will a marketer, will a marketer still want to maintain that price at a higher price? Even when I listen to some of the commentary, some argue that we bought at a higher price. that if we sell below, we'll be running at loss. And I asked them, when it was adjusted, did you inform us that you bought on a lower price? That you cannot sell on a higher price? The answer is no. Then at what point will you not shift the burden to the buyers? It's about assets and liabilities. You cannot just be shifting only the burden to only the buyers. With the buyers, the consumers, anytime there are issues, they shift all the blame to us. It's not supposed to be so. Both the marketers and with the consumer are supposed to also be sharing in 50-50. It's not one-sided. But that is what the Nigerian marketers have able to do now. All the blame is shifted to the consumers. And we began, that is the reason why it's good for government to also have a regulatory system. Otherwise, if the marketers decide to constitute themselves as a cabal, we are finished. Therefore, government, there is no government in the world that will not solely rely on the force of market to determine price. Because there are insinuations, there are belief, there are propensity for people market in the name of marketers to just go to they have association to say, well, no matter how the price we are buying at the international market, we must sell at this price.
Okay.
Government should be able to do that. No, you cannot hold the people responsible to ransom. And that is what government is here. It's not restricted to only petroleum products. It's general across all board. Okay.
I love the fact that you touched on the role of marketers and government. But I also want us to touch on a key player in this industry. One that Nigerians, during its conception, talking about the Dangote Refinery now. When it commenced, a lot of Nigerians saw it as a sign of hope when it comes to the reduction of the price of fuel in the market. But today, Nigerians are having to think differently. Do you feel that the emergence of the Dangote $20 billion modular refinery has changed anything in the oil sector? And if it has, in what way?
I cannot hold brief for Dangote Refinery. I have not been paid to do that. If I, as a lobbyist, if I was consulted to do that, I would do that.
Not as a lobbyist, but as an individual who consumes
No,
fuel.
but well, you also agree with me that Dangote is a capitalist. It's investing to make profit.
Okay.
Don't run away from that. Therefore, you see, you have the right to say this is what I have to say. That's why I said I still maintain my ground that government must not abandon the citizens. They must be there to tell the marketers, we know how much we are getting this at the international market. You cannot. Once the profit is not very high, it calls for concern. Because you also you must consider the consumers. Well, Dangote coming, whether bad or good, is also good for us. Well, on daily basis, now Dangote is giving us, a complete evaluation on how the prices are coming down. Give it to Dangote. If you consider the rest marketers, they are not interested to tell you. They are holding on tenaciously to say, no, the price will, until we finish. And it might take them another 1 year, they will not finish. But on the Dangote side, you can see Dangote is coming downward, telling us that the price is coming down. And and whether they like it or as Dangote is now coming down, Dangote have what it is to have more marketing petrol stations. A side that you can go and say, I'm looking for Dangote before you get it. If in another 5 years, Dangote is able to consolidate on that this is how I want to sell my fuel. Definitely, being Nigeria as a major market, the population is there. I see Dangote going below to say, I will do more better than do who are going abroad to go import.
All right.
It's supposed to even be like that because you are refining in Nigeria.
I am going to come to that importation question just in a minute, but let me take comments from our viewers live on the show. All right, this one coming from Joshua Oji says, the cost of things in the market, because they also buy. That is what we are talking about. Nigerians are crying for high cost in everything. All right, thank you so much, Joshua. Still from, Jagaban says, Austin says, all the marketers are behaving like cartels. Interesting.
Yakabos.
Then Joshua just says, change is constant. We're experiencing change. The question is it the change that you want, that you're experiencing, Joshua? All right, still from Joshua, we should expect more change. All right. Luke Hope says, good morning to you, Luke. Thank you so much for joining us. And Jagaban says, both Dangote and government, they are the ones spoiling this country. Reasons, because I don't still understand why they won't change the price from 1,000 naira to 700. I mean, we are literally makers of crude oil. Comrade, I want you to speak to this, because this has been the number one argument, especially now that we have a modular refinery, because the issue then was, oh, we do not have working refineries in our country. We had to export crude in raw form outside the country, have it refined, then import it back. But now we have a working modular refinery, and yet we are still experiencing this.
You know, do we have working, when you say we, who are the we? Are you talking about Nigeria?
Well, Dangote is for us.
No, Dangote is a capitalist. He's a businessman. When we are using that word we, I will not subscribe to that. It's not we. Dangote is running his business. You want it to run at a loss? Have you bought that to God? Have more Dangote borrowed to finance that refinery? I can confidently tell you that over 50% of the resources were borrowed, sourced for internationally. Therefore, he needs to repart those payments. The language we does not arrive. Even Dangote, as of today, also have informed us that he also sourced for crude internationally. It's not rely only on Nigeria crude. He moved to international market to buy crude, and he's buying at the same price. Unless you are telling me that Nigeria government is giving the Dangote crude at a lesser price, is then you start talking about we.
Okay, let me even pin you there on that. There is currently an agreement between the government, that is NNPCL, and Dangote Refinery to supply him crude at naira, not at dollar rate.
Yes.
And they supply him crude as well, though he has come up with the argument that what they supply him is not enough. But is that not still enough for the price that he supplies marketers to reduce?
Of course, if what they are supplying is the test of naira to naira deal that they sign, if they are giving him a sufficient crude, that would be good. Nigeria, you know definitely they will not be able to give you that sufficient one, because they want to also take their oil to the international market. And it's even quite disheartening is that some of this oil you are talking about, Nigeria crude oil, were pre-sold under the last administration. We were told the volume of crude oil that were pre-sold. As we are talking, some have since been sold. And that's the reason why the Nigerian government is not making any meaningful impact from this sort of petroleum cost, price of crude oil international market. Do you know how most of countries who have oil, what they were able to achieve in international market in terms of profit and gain? Nigeria don't have anything to show for it, because the former president Buhari pre-sold this oil. You will be sure the money he sold it. As at today, even when the prices is going down, the buyers, they are not willing. They said this is an agreement we have. We bought this oil for you. Let's say it was $20 per barrel. Even when they are selling 100 or something, they still maintain that. That is one of the damage that was done to us collectively, done to our economy by the last administration.
All right, thank you, comrade. Now let me bring you back to the earlier conversation. You were talking about exportation and importation of crude oil. There has been this ongoing battle between Dangote and the Nigerian midstream and downstream sector, whereby Dangote went to court and saying that the court should stop the NMDPRO from issuing licenses for marketers to import fuel into the country. That he has, his Dangote Refinery has enough capacity to supply the country. While the NMDPRO said that will be monopolizing the sector by giving only him the authority to supply crude. And like you also made mention of the fact that he is a capitalist. So, and there has also been the argument against the quality of sulfur he uses for his crude, which even brought about the corruption allegation about the NMDPRO boss, of which still today we know that that has been swept under the carpet because we have not heard anything about it. So in the aspect of monopolization of the refinery, currently, to the best of my knowledge, we do not have any working refinery in Nigeria. So these arguments in terms of exporting and importing fuel and allowing Dangote to have sole control of supplying Nigerians fuel, what can you say about it?
Well, I'm one of those who also believe that Nigeria should not allow Dangote to monopolize the entire market. Because if he monopolizes, it's not going to be good for us as a people. And I'm also, you will recall that when Dangote was issuing a license to go and build a private refinery, some Nigerians was also giving. Some of them deliberately refused to invest on it. They just believe that after this man have done that, we are going to shortchange it. How do we shortchange it? We will now go to a nearby country and start importing. By the time you are now importing, you are undermining it. And you also need to ask yourself, what was the initial arrangement? What was the contract Dangote Refinery have with the Nigerian government as at the time was setting up? Because Dangote Refinery was moving from one country to another, sourcing for fund. In the US, people were looking, he was looking for where to get for. At the time, we were told that the Nigerian government will have a stake on it. There are figures that were quoted, did not be an issue. But they never existed. You know your country, you know how we behave. And Dangote looking at what they want to do, and they have argued that even the kind way he was managed did not be an issue, that he was not so happy about it. You remember the man who was managing, is it the downstream that he complained and the man has since been removed?
Farouk.
These are some of the issues, and some persons, he believed that some persons were just acting as an economic keyjoy to his business. They believe that they would not allow Dangote Refinery to excel, like the way they did not allow Nigeria Refinery to excel.
All right, thank you so much, comrade. I know this conversation can definitely span through, but because of time, in last few words, I'm going to ask this question, and I want you to answer it very briefly. Many Nigerians have argued that fuel subsidy should be returned to help Nigerians cushion the effect. What's your opinion as regards that?
Definitely, I'm one of those who believe that there must be subsidy. There's no country in the world that does not subsidize. Go and do research on it. Because Nigeria is claiming we don't need subsidy, one, because we're not able to manage subsidy. Because of the corruption that characterizes it, we're not able to manage it. We're not looking for a shortcut. All the indices given to us that when you remove subsidy, Nigeria will not borrow. I will not borrow enough. Once we remove subsidy, everything will be what is working now. Now we remove subsidy. Very just that we have even seen agency of government, people are now issuing a direct letter of appointment to themselves to run an agency.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. What have we not seen about Nigeria?
So in your take, subsidy should be returned.
Impossible, because the government must subsidize something for us. What is the Nigerian government subsidizing for us?
Thank you so much, comrade. All right, to you, our viewers, I'd like to hear your points on this. Should subsidy be returned? If yes, why? And if no, also let us know in the comments. I'll definitely still be taking your comments, but at this time we'll have to call an end to this segment of the show as we bring up the sports segment. So we'll hear the news making rounds in the sport world. Stay with us.
VOS TV.
It is that season of the year again for graduation ceremony. Are you a school proprietor or proprietress in Benin City, principal or head teacher? How do you intend to celebrate your graduates in style this season? Are you looking for professional media outfits that can add glamour to your event with a touch of class? Think no further. VOS Global Media Limited, the fastest growing online station in Benin City, has solutions to your worries and standard expectations. It is a place where education meets fun. As you begin preparation for your graduation ceremony, contact us to bring your event to life and showcase your school to the world. We render the following services: event coverage, photo shoots, photo frames, red carpet shows, news coverage, and live streaming. Interestingly, these services are rendered at discounted prices for our special school promo this season. Apart from graduation ceremony, we can also cover your inter-house sports, cultural day, career guidance events, debates, quizzes, exciting excursion tours, and any other event. We are ready to showcase your events to our vast audience scattered across social media platforms. What are you waiting for? Contact us today on 0903 710 3329 or 0802.
Good morning and welcome to the sports segment of the morning show. I am Destiny Awu. Now let's take a ride through major stories making the rounds on the sports show. First, European giants Portugal progressed into the last 16 of the World Cup following a dramatic 2-1 victory over Croatia in the early hours of this morning to set up a titanic showdown with European champion Spain. Portugal's 41-year-old Ronaldo helped his team back into the contest after scoring a 68-minute penalty to cancel out Croatia's 53rd minute opener from Ivan Perisic. Ronaldo later joined frenzied celebrations after Ramos glanced home a sensational header deep into injury time to give Portugal a 2-1 victory. Goncalo Ramos headed Portugal into the lead in the 4th minute of stoppage time before Croatia saw a last-gap equalizer that was ruled out for offside. The result ensures that Ronaldo's incredible World Cup career will be extended for at least one more match. Meanwhile, their next opponent, Spain, had earlier humiliated Austria 3-0 to book their place in the next round. In the third game of the day, Switzerland swept aside another African representatives, Algeria, 2-0 to progress to the next round. Back home, 5-time world champions Nigeria departed for China on Thursday night to compete in the 2026 China International Youth Football Tournament, scheduled to take place in Yunchuan from July 5th to July 11th. The four-nation individual tournament
Continue.
Sorry for that technical glitch. Back home, 5-time world champions Nigeria departed for China on Thursday night to compete in the 2026 China International Youth Football Tournament, scheduled to take place in Yinchuan from July 5th to July 11th. The four-nation invitational tournament is hosted by the Chinese Football Association and the Yinchuan Municipal People's Government. The head coach of the team, Uwuje Amoere, will lead a 20-man Golden Eaglet squad for the competition. Nigeria will battle host China, Australia and Tanzania in the tournament, with all matches set to be played at the Yinchuan Sports Center Helanshan Stadium. The competition forms part of the Golden Eaglets' preparations for the 2026 WAFU B Under-17 Championship, which will be held in September and serves as a qualifying tournament for the 2027 Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations. Now talking about basketball. Nigeria's senior men's basketball team, the Tigers, on Thursday defeated Tunisia 84-81 in a crucial Group C match of the FIBA Basketball World Cup 2027 African qualifiers in Luanda, Angola. The victory marked a winning start for newly appointed head coach David Fitzel, who took charge of this first competitive game with the team. The Tigers made a strong start, edging Tunisia 23-21 in the first quarter before the North Africans responded to claim the second quarter 23-20, leaving the teams level at halftime. Nigeria regained control in the third quarter, winning it 21-19 and held their nerve in the final period with a 20-18 advantage to seal the hard-fought 84-81 victory. The victory has significantly boosted the team's chances of progressing in the race for a place at the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup in Qatar. The Tigers will return to action on Friday against Guinea before concluding the qualifying window against Rwanda on Sunday. Victories in both matches are expected to strengthen their qualification hopes further. Now to boxing. British boxer Tyson Fury has said he would take on Marius Watch in a charity match in Thailand this month, ahead of an anticipated clash with Anthony Joshua. The 37-year-old two-time world champion announced on his Facebook page on Wednesday. The 12-round bout will take place on July 24th. Fury last retired after his second successive loss to world champion Ukrainian Alexander Usyk at the end of 2024 and went a calendar year without a fight before announcing his latest comeback in January. He famously dethroned long-reigning champion Klitschko in 2015 and is known for his exceptional speed despite his towering size. Fury said the WAC match would take place at Max Muay Stadium in Pattaya. That's all from our sport desk this morning. Over to Felicia for the rest of the morning show.
Thank you so much, Destiny, for that comprehensive sport news. Yes, talking about what's going on in the boxing world, in the basketball world, and other sports world. Thank you so much. And to our viewers, thank you so much for joining us. Jagaban MRT, Joshua Oji, Anulika, Ostino, thank you so much for your comments. And of course, the comments from Great as well. Thank you so much, so much. We do appreciate you. And that's how we call it a wrap on the segment of the show on Dawn on VOS TV. We'll come your way again same time next week, Mondays to Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. both on Facebook and of course on YouTube. And this is also to let you know that this show is open for sponsorship and advert placement. And with that, we say bye for now.